I'm CK. Today we've got another kit from Gikfun. It's a clock because my regular shop clock here on my workbench power cord keeps coming loose and I can't ever remember how to reset it. So I got another clock to put out here. This looks like it's got a multicolor LED display too, so that could be kind of fun. We'll put it together, see what we learned from it, and see how it works. And I hope you enjoy the video. The bag, picked this up from Amazon, and I usually have pretty good success with Gikfun kits, so I'm looking forward to this. It feels like the case may be already somewhat pre-made, but we'll see. First we have go get more Gikfun stuff, and we've got a bag inside the bag. Just to frustrate me, get my scissors out. I gotta put my visor on, I forgot to do that. Digital clock kit. We've got a piece of paper. CA1201 digital clock installation tutorial. And here are the setting instructions, which I'm probably going to try and remember to keep around. Here is the case. Yeah, the case is all pre-made, which quite frankly for beginners that's often very good, because putting the cases together is often harder than doing the electronic assembly. So we'll pull this all out if we can. Get a screwdriver. Well, come on, guys. This is really in there. There's one little tab of something I may be able to pull on here with my needle nose. Or actually I grabbed my bendy pliers, not my needle nose. Look, that's really jammed in there. That's not fun. I'm going to bang it on the desk. There we go. That got it out. Hopefully we didn't damage the tube display, which is kind of attractive, and it's got a matte finish. And yeah, you can see here these, we have to put pins in: ground, LE, don't know what that is, clock, SDI, don't know what that is, D1, don't know, D0, N, and 5 volts in. So power on both ends and control the clock on the other pins. We've got a little USB power connector, which is good because that'll keep me from losing time all the time like I did with the other one. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot to this. We've got glare in my eyes. We've got some resistors. We really do have glare in my eyes. Did I hit my... I must have hit this. Socket, power connector, the chip. This is a DS1302 or 230NJN. I'll look that up. That's probably drives the display. And this is an STC microcontroller. This should be a voltage regulator. This is a... no, I think that's a transistor. And we've got a beeper. Come on. Magnetic beeper. It's holding all the screws. That's good. A timing crystal, which is... I don't see any value on it. Huh, okay. Oh, I gotta go back and look at the instruction, or the circuit board again. A photoresistor to brighten and dim the light, or the output at night. Here's a diode, couple of disc caps, and the pin headers. It'll go in here, like so. A tactile switch to do setting and other functions, two tactile switches to do settings and other functions, and again, I didn't look at the front of this circuit board. Okay, the front of the circuit board has all the component. Oh, that's not a diode, that's a thermistor, so it's got a temperature readout too. And then we've got everything on the board shows its values, so all the resistors are 10K, capacitors are 22 pico, and I think that's it. And the transistor goes there. Oh, there's 104. Oh, there's 104s on each end of the chips. Those will be 100 nano decoupling caps for the chips to condition the power going into the chips. But this looks pretty straightforward. The circuit board looks good through hole plating, and as we saw, it will certainly slide into the case securely. So the question is, how are we going to... Okay, so we're going to mount the board like this, facing back. The components will be facing back because that makes sure the ground on circuit board matches up with the ground on the LED display. It also allows the little speaker to make noise out the back, and there's power connector and battery. And the battery is a 1220. I hope I have a 1220. Fortunately, oh, that's the backup. Okay, good. This has a backup. The battery is backup for keeping time synced. I think the DS1320 is the clock chip. And here's the USB power or 5-volt power in. Typically we use USB for that nowadays, since we have so many USB chargers floating around our houses. So that's it. Looks pretty simple to put together. I'll take a look and see if there is an online build guide, just because, even though again we don't really need it for this, and this video can be your build guide. So I'll get the soldering iron heated up and we'll put this thing together. I went to the product page on Amazon for this, and they have another what they call user manual, which is also installation tutorial, and they have another QR code here, which I'll get to, but this, at least, the only difference it has between the one we looked at earlier is it has a schematic, and we can see that the timing crystal Y1 is 32,768, which is a typical input signal for a clock, because it's all about dividing that in various ways for clock output, time output. It's kind of neat science and math if you look at it. Go take a look at timing crystals 32,768, and it'll show you how it divides well for various things. Now they do say they have another place on their website with a video tutorial, kind of like this one, I guess. And oh, okay, it's in Chinese. This one's in Chinese. I think they have an English one here. Good pictures, like that. Pictures look very nice. Step by step by step. Oh gosh, I didn't even look at my battery closet for the backup battery to see if I have one of those again. I don't think I do, but I'll take a look at the interval when I'm done putting this thing together and ready to put it in the case. So that's the Chinese version. Let's see if there's an English version instruction book. And it's the same as the other one. So there's no step-by-step word. Oh, okay, here we are. Yeah. When triode, tact switch, power socket, and battery holder are installed, they should be installed correspondingly according to the shape. In other words, lay them out in terms of the outline on the board. So we'll pretty much, we don't need the diagram or the instructions, because it's all pretty straightforward. And let's look at their little video, which I can't really see. You can't make it bigger. Bibli. Oh, okay, it's on Bibli. Going through what I just did. Okay, well, we don't want to look at that because you're going to see that right now in action. So let's start, as we typically do, with resistors. We often, when we're putting electronics together, go from flattest to the board to tallest away from the board. And all the resistors are the same value. They're all 10K, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll slide one in, do a little solder it down so we can see how well this board takes solder. Where is a piece of solder? There we go. And solders up very nicely. Good. Didn't get that to flow quite right. There we go. And you can see it weep through the plated holes, giving it a real good connection. So I'll do the rest of the resistors and not say anything and speed up the playback a little bit, so you can enjoy resistor time. That's the resistors. I'm going to put, in terms of flatness, I'm going to put the timing crystal back on now. If I can find it. Where is it? There it is. It's hiding under the power connector. So since we're going to be laying this flat on the board, as they recommend, and you can see in the little drawing, this is not polarized. There is, except for the chips, there are no points and the power connections. All the other components are polarity neutral, so they can go either way. Let me solder that down because it's a little floppy. That's down. I'm going to put the power connector on now, the backup battery connector on now, since it is very also low to the board. I'm going to get a little piece of foam to support it. This is foam that ICs came in previous kits, and that's why I've still got it, because I save it for things like this to give me a little support. Make sure that's flat. It is flat. That'll be good. Now the next lowest components are, I may get my head in the shot, I don't know. Someday I'm going to get a repeater screen for my top camera. So we'll put the microprocessor connector in right now, and it's got a notch in the socket, and there's a notch outline printed on the circuit board. So I'll put that on there, right like so. Hold the board flat with my middle finger while I solder one pin. Let the solder cool, lift it up. Is it all flat? It is. So I'll put the other socket for the clock chip, same kind of way, but this time, because there are two sockets now, it'll lay flat just fine. And I'll do all these pins. That's all the sockets. They go together they go on pretty quickly. This, by the way, this connector here is for the ISP. It ground 5-volt, transmit data, receive data. It's to program this IC if you were to want to do that. I will not be doing that, so I'm not going to put that connector on. In fact, I don't think they give me, no, they don't actually give me a piece of pin header for that, but we're going to do the 22 pico capacitors now. and the 104s if I pick them up at the appropriate time. Even though there's only 22 pico capacitors left, I'm going to look at the value anyway, because you don't want to get surprised. I think they may have given me extras. One thing about some of these kits, they will toss in extra components. The count's not necessarily completely accurate, but it's fine because that means then you have some chip or extra components that you can put in your spare parts box or bin or bag and have them around, and you might need them in the future. I'm going to put the tactile switches on, the up and the set button. They just clip in. The support legs are bent, so these things go in place and you don't have to hold them, which is convenient. So I'll solder them. That's all that. Now we'll put the transistor in, and it goes, there's a flat side, and there's a flat side on the outline printed on the circuit board. I won't solder that just yet. Next, I'll put the speaker on. You can see there's a positive side. There's a positive side on the speaker. I forgot this is another polarized part. Solder these guys down. For the transistor, somebody told me long time ago when transistors first started becoming available for us home hobbyists, shows you how long I've been doing this, solder the middle pin, then do the two outside pins. You can see how this transistor is connected to the speaker terminal, so this is going to coming through this resistor from this pin on the microcontroller. So the microcontroller will toggle this transistor, which will send power through the speaker and make it go buzz or whatever. Might even make it speak. I don't know if this has a speak mode to it. I'm going to put the power connector on now. Hard to get this wrong, which is nice, so you don't have to worry about making a mistake with the polarity. I'm going to need some more solder. I thought what I had would be enough, but not this time. Yeah, this is pretty much a single layer board. This layer, the front layer of the board, looks like it's carrying all the power, and the back layer of the board, you can follow the traces and see how the signal flow is going. And now, how are we going to do this? I think we've got two more things to solder on here. The photoresistor and the thermistor, the temperature sensor. And I want to take a look and see how this goes. I mean, it'll go this way. Because I want to see how, because what we're going to want the photoresistor and the thermistor to be off the board and kind of aimed a little bit up. So that looked like I could put it in with maybe a 1/2 inch or 5 millimeters away from the board, kind of like that, because then I can aim it up a little bit. So I'm going to bend the lead like so and so, and then solder those. Now, if you've looked at some other clocks I've built, some of them have a hole in the top of the case that these would protrude through, and this one does too. Okay, so you'll see there's a cutout for the photoresistor and a cutout for the thermistor. So I think we will be fine with this, with how much I did it. It's a little short, but that's okay. But I will look at the thermistor a little more carefully, and I'm actually going to have it end up being a little bit out of the case. I mean, I'm going to have it a lot out of the case, actually. So I'm sure that it's not being interfered with. It's not picking up any heat from the minimal heat that's generated inside the case, but it's fully in the air. And I'll just solder it from the front side. And that'll be good. Take it back out. Now we'll do our soldering of this fella. Because again, it will go, I'm just making sure I'm got this right again. It will go together. I'm going to kind of stick them together now, like it will be when it's all done, which I can't really do because I haven't cut the legs off the, I'm going to cut the legs off the thermistor. And actually, because I didn't completely solder, I didn't clip the leads on this photoresistor, I'm going to adjust it, pull it out a little bit because I was a little too short there. Now back to what I was doing. Ground to ground. Bi-bolt to bi-bolt. Kind of goes together like that. Actually, I'll go that way. It doesn't much matter. So because it's all, I'm just going to solder them together. There's nothing else we need to put on this board. I'm not putting the chips in. I don't put the chips in until I'm done with everything else, just because I get paranoid about damaging the chips while I'm still in here soldering. Because everything else I have spares for, but I don't have spare clock chips, or I don't have the AT Mega chip spare, so I'm just kind of reaching in the side here. See if I can show you without damaging the photoresistor position. Just reaching in the side, soldering everything down, making sure all those connections are good, they all look good, everything looks good. Do I have to recycle the cameras? My cameras only run for 29 minutes before they time out, so I'm actually going to recycle the cameras because I'm getting close to that. Cameras are back on. Let's finish this up. Now we can put the chips in. I'm going to put the clock chip in first, bending the legs inward a little bit against the side of my workbench so they fit into the socket. The notch is going on the chip, is facing the notch on the socket, which is facing the notch on the circuit board. Do the same thing with the microprocessor. Now this is already programmed. It doesn't show it. Many times they'll have a little strip of highlighter or paint a dab of that to show you that it's pre-programmed. This one does not have that. Not a big deal, just we're going on faith that it's actually programmed. Now I'm going to go see if I have any 1220s. I don't think so. I have mostly 2032s. I rarely need these others, but I might have some. No, I do not have that battery, but since it's only for backup in case power goes out, I'll finish up building this and I'll put that in when I actually put it to use. So as you can see, it slides right into the case, and I got my greasy fingers all over it. The thermistor is sticking out the top so it can read temperature very easily. The photoresistor is sticking out the top so it can sense ambient light and dim itself when it is nighttime. Now we'll put the case together. Again, a very simple case, which is nice, because sometimes the case is the hardest thing about these builds. It goes in, and yeah, later, some other time, I will get the batteries and install them, or battery and install it, but I'm not going to do that now. Take our little screw, drop it in there, do one corner. You don't want to run it in too tightly because you'll strip the plastic. Just snug it up. And there it is, a quick and easy build. And you'll see we've got 2 screws and 2 22 nano caps left, which I will put in my, this is my working random parts from kit's box. I have a bigger box that contains a whole bunch more stuff, but I always save the extras. You never know when you're going to need it. Now we can start looking at how this thing actually works. And you can actually see set and up, which is good. So I'm going to plug this in. Oops, I'm going to plug it in on the correct side. That's always a good thing. Let me turn this light off. And we'll plug this in, and for Elise, a little Beethoven playing for us. Yes, you can stop. You can, thank you. Press and hold set and up button simultaneously for more than 3 seconds. Digital lights up, make a sound, then release the buttons. Okay, so it is reset. Now setting the time, let me get my phone out. See what time it is. It is 9:35. So set button until 2021. We'll go 2022, 2023, 2024, which is good. And then we set the date, and the date is 7/24, I think. I'm pretty sure. Good. Now we'll set the hours flashing, and what did we say it was? And it's got a little PM indicator that you may not be able to see. There we go. Now we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and what was the time again? Now it's 9:36. So we'll go up to 9:36. Let's see if it rapid change moves. If I hold it down, it does not. You have to do individual presses for each number. Oh, and I went past it, but I'm not going to worry about that. Now, press and hold the up button until 24-hour flashes, then release it. Once enter, the up button is used to modify the value, and set button is used to move to the next step. So, I'm going to press the up button, and I'm going to go to 24-hour clock, because I prefer that. Then press the set button to display chime reminders. We don't want that. If both of these numbers are the same, it will not chime. So that's what I want it. So that's going to be the same. This is alarm, and we want that off. And then we've got, that sets the time for it, which we don't care about. And alarm 2 is also off, which is good. Alarm 3, gee willikers, how many alarms do you have on here, guys? And then workday alarm settings. There's a lot of alarms in here. --E, which means weekday alarm is off. Good. So we don't want that. So you can set a different, oops, it flicked back. Auto brightness mode. Well, now we got to go back to where we were. So we did that, did that off, did that off, did that off, did workday alarm off. Then we've got auto brightness on L, will be displayed, adjusting brightness, okay. CL, oh, here's the, I want that in Fahrenheit. How can I make that Fahrenheit? Oh, okay. I can adjust the temperature. There we go. Now I've got it that way. Color display mode. Set button to display DC2. DC2 for, oh, it allows you to select each color for each digit or set of digits. So I'll pick that. That's kind of attractive. I'll change that to red, change that to dark blue. Now it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit. It is not 88 degrees. Now sound setting, DU1, time correction, and display mode. We want to get to DP4. DP1, display time only. Cycle DP2, cycle display of time and temperature. DP3, time, temperature, and day of the week. I think I want to set it just to time. That's all I care about. And then we're done. And it's 2140. Which is accurate right now. And we can't do anything else with that. So to see the temperature, I would actually have to go back and change the settings. There's no button that allows me to actually touch to see instantaneous temperature. I would have to go back to having it toggle between one or the other, and I'm not going to do that. I do want to see if it, when I cover the photoresistor, if it gets dimmer. I can't really tell, but it sure should. It's doing everything else well. So there you go. It's an attractive little clock. I can put it over here. Replaces my other clock nicely. I'll put it down here, actually. And again, you can put a battery in there to ensure you don't lose your time when and if the power goes off. For me, that's not really a problem in this case because I've got 30K of household battery hooked up, 30 kilowatt of household battery hooked up. So that's a good little kit. Went together very quickly, as you saw, very simple to do, nothing real challenging about any of the soldering or mechanical assembly. So that's a fun little kit. Another nice one from Gikfun. And I hope you enjoyed the video.